Hello everyone, welcome to News Channel N, the place you can trust for your Nintendo and gaming news. I'm Mas Majora, and I'll be your host as we look at the biggest headlines of last week. Before anything else, this is the first official video for News Channel N. I'm really happy you're here, and I really hope you enjoy. I apologize that this video is getting out a bit late, but I'm going to work on making it a little bit more consistent. Without further ado, let's just jump right into our first headline. Here's some big news for Hollow Knight fans. A listing for Hollow Knight Silksong has been added to the Xbox Store with a rating of E10+, suggesting that there's progress towards the game coming out. The Xbox social media team has also highlighted this, saying that it wasn't an April Fool's joke. Furthermore, it was found later in the week that it had also been rated in South Korea, which means there's definitely some moves being made behind the scenes. Now, in my opinion, it is great and it is cool, but I have a hard time believing that it's an indication that the game is going to be coming out soon. Don't get me wrong, I love Hollow Knight, and I too have been waiting for Silksong to come out for a very long time. But it's already been listed on the Switch and PlayStation stores, and just because Xbox just added it doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming out soon. Now, with that being said, the fact that it was called out on social media and that it's been rated in South Korea is definitely a little bit more solid evidence than it just being listed on the Xbox Store. But I still suggest to Hollow Knight fans to err on the side of caution. We don't want to get our hopes up too high because we've been tricked before, we've been bamboozled, and I really don't want to get my hopes up only to be disappointed later on. But it is good news, and it definitely means we're making progress, which is always a good thing. Next, a new Switch dock patent has been filed by Nintendo. This patent seems to exist with the intention of fixing the back of the Switch dock, making the wires a little bit less of a confusing situation. It seems to achieve this by having a single rotating peg on the back of the dock, allowing you to plug in your wires and such into the sides of the peg as it rotates. In my opinion, this is such a weird patent to file right now. The Switch is at the end of its development cycle, and it just seems like a really weird idea to update the docks now of all times. This is slightly unrelated, but I think that they've updated the Switch docks before, have they not? I remember when the Switch first came out, people were constantly complaining about the Switch screen getting scratched and from rubbing up against the dock. And I haven't really looked into this. I haven't really researched it, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. But when my mom got a Switch, she got the Animal Crossing one. So it was after the point of them updating to the newer models of Switch with the better battery life. And her dock, the space where the Switch goes in, where you put the Switch down and it locks in, that space is a lot wider than it is on my dock from my Switch that I got when it first came out. So my guess is that either the Animal Crossing dock has some weird design difference where it's a little bit wider, or that when they updated the newer models of Switch, they also updated the docks so that it wasn't scratching the screen as much. But I don't know, is that true? It might just be true. It might just be well-known knowledge that I am just too lazy to look up. But I don't know, this is something I've thought about for a while, and it seems to be something that nobody really talks about, even when talking about the newer models of Switch. So I just wanted to bring it up because I thought that this is a really interesting thing, because they're updating it for another one of the complaints that they had about the dock. But now it's a different thing that they're going after. I don't know. I'm just rambling on at this point. Now, moving on from that. Anyways, the obvious thing to glean from this new patent is that hopefully they're going to be using this for the new Switch successor that will be coming out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, later this year or next year. It's got to come out at some point because the Switch is nearing the end of its development cycle, so we kind of got to have a new system soon. So hopefully this dock design is for that new system, and it's just that they decided to change it now instead of waiting. Okay, moving on. Our next headline is no more Pokemon TV. If you don't know, Pokemon TV was essentially a streaming service that only played Pokemon related content. So it was a really great place if you wanted to watch the Pokemon anime, but you couldn't really watch anything else on it. So nobody really used it, so it fizzled out and it started being removed from several stores across multimedia platforms, and now it has officially ended. And this story is actually pretty funny to me because a couple months ago I remember that this app existed and I couldn't find it. It must have been after it was removed from the store I was looking at, or like, I don't know, but I just couldn't find it. So I think it's really funny that it was just because the service was so bad that people weren't using it. But I really missed it for that one time that I wanted to use it. It was a cute service, but it was also kind of lame. A streaming service for just one franchise isn't really good enough, and it just needed more to go off of. But it was cute for what it did, and I think it was just an experiment, and now it's over. Okay, moving to one of the bigger headlines. April Fool's was last week, and there were plenty of different pranks being pulled across the industry. Here are a few of the highlights from this year's April Fool's jokes. Yacht Club Games, the creators of Shovel Knight, creating a skincare brand. Dave the Diver getting a dating sim. The Pokemon Sleep World Championship. Power Wash Simulator's new Dirt mode, where instead of water, you spray everything with dirt. The Sega Dreamcast Mini. And most notably, the Virtual Boy Pro, which unfortunately wasn't created by Nintendo, but by IGN of all things. It features essentially a Quest headset strapped to a Nintendo Switch, where there were a few games based on the Nintendo properties. It was pretty cool, and it was kind of neat hearing the Virtual Boy Pro as just a name. I like it. Another one of note, Landfall Games, the creators of games like Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, do an April Fool's event every year in honor of the general hijinks they get up to. For example, one of these previous years, they released a collection of shorter game ideas that I've heard is really good, and it was all for free. This year, they released a game called Content Warning, which was free again for 24 hours, which is a Lethal Company clone that has silly ragdoll physics and focuses on the actual exploration and scare factor of the game rather than collecting anything. Your goal is simply to film your most exciting moments and stay alive so that you can upload your footage to SpookTube, get views, and make some money. I think it's safe to say that Landfall did not expect it to do as well as it did. Last I knew, they were around 6 million downloads, which is insane. And it's kind of also insane because I'm sure a majority of them were during the 24 hours in which the game was free. So they probably lost a lot of money with that promotion. But the game definitely has some legs. I personally really love it, almost more than Lethal Company. And I think it's just because it focuses on the scare factor of the games. Because sometimes I feel like I can't properly get scared or immerse myself in the world because I'm focused on a task. But when my task is to record the things that are going around me, it opens everything up. It makes me feel like I'm actually in this world recording content for my YouTube channel. The game itself is a little bare bones right now, but I think with some content updates, this game could surpass Lethal Company no problem. Alright, moving on. The FTC has denied the ESRB's proposal for facial recognition technology for age verification. Essentially, the ESRB has been in the process of developing a technology that could verify a person's age when they bought a mature game. Essentially, a large parental control to make sure that young kids aren't buying games that they shouldn't be playing. The FTC has fortunately rejected the proposal, saying that there are concerns with privacy and security protections. Next up, we have some Super Nintendo World Donkey Kong expansion footage. It honestly looks pretty cool. You can see a little bit of a ride going off to the left, although I'm not sure if that's from the Hogwarts thing that's right in front of it, because that's like blocking most of what we're seeing. It does seem like they're basing it off the Mario movie, which does make sense considering it's Universal. I'm excited to see what it entails, even though I don't really intend to go right away. I may down the line. If I ever go to Universal, I definitely will, but you know, it's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to go to, you know? Just not that big into amusement parks. Okay, and to end us off, we have the big story of the week. The Nintendo 3DS and Wii U online play servers have been shut down. On April 8th, which is this previous Monday, and the day of the total solar eclipse that just happened, the Wii U and 3DS Wi-Fi servers were shut down. Any games that you have that have Wi-Fi online play capabilities will not be able to use them. Software updates and re-downloading of software will still be possible for the foreseeable future. This especially affects software like Nintendo Badge Arcade, which will essentially be unusable. A side note, I don't know anything about Nintendo Badge Arcade. Is this like a really big deal? I don't know. I didn't think that Nintendo Badge Arcade was that big of a thing, but it was all over like the websites I was looking at when I was researching for this video. And I guess it's something that a lot of people care about, but I just never got into it, I guess. Weirdly enough, Street Pass will still be active since it's not tied to internet servers. SpotFast, unfortunately, will not. This is great news for like Street Pass Mii Plaza, because that is a game that when you're going out and you bring your 3DS with you, that's the one consistent thing that you'll always be able to play with people. And the games on there, I don't know, man, they're not too bad. I think more people should check it out if you haven't already. But I have to admit, this is a sad day in history. First our eShop, then our online play. When will it end? It's certainly sad, but it's expected. The consoles are old at this point, and the Switch seems to be paving a way for a new era at Nintendo. And not to mention, I've said it a couple times during this video already, the Switch itself is pretty old at this point, so it makes sense that these other consoles aren't going to be supported anymore. Hopefully somebody will create some fan servers. It would definitely be nice to play some Animal Crossing every once in a while. And with that, that's the end of our first episode of News Channel N. And thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry again that the video came out a lot later than I said it would. Next episode, I'm praying that I'll be able to have it out on time. It might again just be a little bit late, but I am striving and trying to make my schedule work so that I can do this consistently. I may have to just change the day that I plan to upload, but I'm going to try not to do that for the time being and just wait and see if somehow I can just keep going the way I'm going, because I think Sunday is going to work best because I can work out on Saturday. This past weekend was really crazy for me, so it just didn't get done. But this week, fingers crossed, hopefully it will. But enough of that. Thank you for watching, truly. And I will see you next week. Mask Majora, signing off.